So, I just finished running my test on the E12 and E12 Plus from EBIT. I am very pleasantly surprised at the efficiency of, not the efficiency, the stability of these units. If anybody has been mining for a while, you'll know earlier EBIT models like the 9 series, for example, had so many errors and fundamental issues with the unit that pools, big pools like pool and ant pool, would not allow you, NiceHash literally wouldn't allow you to use the unit on their pool anymore. So they banned the EBIT because the amount of errors were so severe that it was disruptive to the pool itself. Think about that. So we already have a niche. Well, I mean, mining is niche to begin with, but like obviously this is the time when the S9 and the WhatsMiner M3, reign massively supreme. So I mean, for every 100 S9s, there's probably one EBIT. And like, I'm just speaking, I have absolutely no idea, but it was definitely not that many EBITs. But so for it to be that disruptive to the pool, we're talking like a small batch unit, that's quite substantial. So anyways, a lot of people have written off EBIT altogether, myself included. But now with the market flying, it's getting harder and harder to find equipment priced, where you can buy it and scale and, not have to remortgage your house. So, very pleased that they've, this unit is extremely stable. I mean, guys, this is probably the most stable miner. I think the WhatsMiner, it's neck and neck with the WhatsMiner as far as how absolutely stable it is. And the way that I have my facility run is I have this is only fans in the front. So there's no ports on the back. So all I've done is I flip the fans around, like the air is coming out here. And it's, grab 100 of these, put them up against, and they will still squirt out. And then I'll just take a filter and put it on this side. So I just want to make sure that, and the small amount of heat by the power supply is fit. I mean, it's going to work wonderful. It's going to pour it perfectly. But I wanted to ensure the testing that, having the air coming in from here, you're feeding it from back to front. I want to make sure there's no issues, and also porting it into forcing it into a single. So I ran this for efficiency, and there's absolutely no issue. We are 2 days error-free, issue-free, and I am extremely pleased with the slight tuned results. So the unit from factory, it does 50, well that's the plus. So there's a E12 and an E12 Plus, which quite frankly are the same. The E12 Plus, think an S17, like 50 terahash or an S17 56. It's the same damn thing, just slightly different firmware. So I have a mix of E12 Plus, but if you get an E12, just put the E12 Plus firmware on it. With the same chip count, everything's the same. So at 50 terahash, which is the E12 Plus, it runs at 57 watts per terahash. So I mean, not exactly anything to write home about, but that would rival the M21S from WhatsMiner. But when you start getting into efficiency, this is where it gets fun. So obviously the two main things of this unit is the price efficiency of it. It's half the price of, like, say, the M21 or the S17 due to their extremely bad history. And just, if you're watching this video, I can almost guarantee you don't have one of these or know anybody that's running these. It's just a very it's, you know, nobody runs them. It's not a, what am I trying to say? Not a popular unit, so that helps with price. So which is what I was going for, obviously, because I want to buy a couple hundred of these to fill out my facility as I'm cycling out the S9s. Side note, if anybody wants S9s, I have hundreds of them, and I'm selling them ASAP. I'm also selling a lot of my 17 series miners simply because of the upkeep required, the 17 series. The EBIT E12, like the Lux miner, is stable. Let me really hammer that down. The unit is very stable. It runs, and it just runs the way I lost him. Hey, what's up, buddy? Fuck off, please. I really don't know if I got him. But anyways, besides the point, good God. The price point is amazing. Like, if you buy them in the bulk that I'm going to, we're talking 3 units. 3 of these would equal 1 S17. And when you run them in efficiency, which is about, I have them running at about 37 to 38 terahash. I know you're losing a lot of terahash, but bear in mind that the stability and the fact that 2 or 3 of these units. So if I'm buying 3 of these units and I'm running them all the way at 35 terahash each, you know, that's over 100 terahash. And at that point, we're able to get the wattage, we're able to get the watts per terahash at under 50. And I'm having, hopefully, if he has time, Chipless, if you're not familiar with him, one of the most brilliant developers, one of the most gifted minds I've ever met, period, and let alone in this field, is going to help me work on developing a better firmware for these units, to see what we can really do if we can get down to chip by chip. So, but with that in mind, if we were able to do that, I would wager that we'd see 40 watts per terahash, but just because running them sub 40, like 30, on average they're running 37, 38 terahash. We're already under 50 watts per terahash, but I mean just barely. So we're looking at like 48 watts per terahash, but that was my goal, was to get under 50 watts. Anyways, I'm going to absolutely, if we find the time and Chip is able to write a firmware for this, I will absolutely have that available here. Unless he either does licensing or we have to pay per unit. I don't think he does developer fee. So, but I will post that link if we get that done. But I'm also going to post, you know, the results where it's the things that you can just mod yourself, which is basically it's like PILL, which is the basically like frequency. You can turn that up and down a touch. There's also with the latest firmware from like directly from eBay, you can just well, you could decompile that and probably change the PLL itself. But in the web GUI, there's a select. You can select low power mode, which right off the bat, that's going to bring you down to 40 terahash. But that's going to bring you to 40 terahash at 50 watts, like from factory. Then you just dial it back on the PLL a little bit. So like it'll probably do 460. Let's just call it frequency because that's what it's like when you're choosing that number. So you choose low power mode, it'll automatically put you at 460, and the unit will self-tune itself perfectly to a massively stable 40 terahash at 2,000 watts. So right there, you're already dealing with, you know, a next generation ASIC. But once you start dialing that PLL back just a touch, so like at 460, you set it to 420, right? That's when you're going to get the sub 50s. You're going to get 48, but you are going to lose another 5 terahash. Like, so instead of, you want to get to 40, I'm hoping to get 46, 47 watts, which again would be baseline for a factory S17 or T17, which is amazing. 7nm processor. These are 10nm. You'll have to run her at about 35 terahash to get your you know, wattage set low. But again, if we're able to build it for chip, I wouldn't be surprised that we would have drastically different results. Anyways, bottom line, again, running it that low, you got to remember the price point and the stability. So these 3 units equate to this 1 unit. So if you're running 60 terahash out of a, you know, stable S17, which the 17 series, the only unit that can even hold a chance to say stable is the Pro. Not the Plus, not the S, definitely not the T17, only an S17 Pro. And the reason for that is the solder is a slightly different solder, it's a slightly different melting point, which is a big deal because the majority of the issues with the 17 series is solder balls drowning out and giving you 0 ASICs. Anyways, I don't want to ramble on. I just wanted to make a quick video to, one, if anybody's struggling out there, to give you an idea on an alternative miner that can help you get back in the game at a price point that's acceptable. And 2, to just share my experience and my shock with the stability and advancement that EBIT has made since, you know, since they colossally failed on the 9 unit. They have come a long way like this has quickly become one of my favorite units. It's just very bulletproof, it's very solid, very sturdy. I got a lot of these shipped to me. Some of them didn't even have the foam. One of the boxes was destroyed. I had to literally hammer out the metal. Maybe you put a car jack in here and push it out, and the unit was fine. Like it just reminds me of like back with the S9s, the stability and the ruggedness. Like you could drop that off from there, literally hit the floor, put it back together, put it back up, and the thing is always so well. All right, well, with that said, I'm gonna start rambling and get back to it myself. I hope this is helpful to anybody who's, like I said, maybe on the fence, you know, about what unit to buy. Why don't you do yourself a favor, just buy 10 of them, you know, and give it a few weeks, see for yourself before you start buying a couple hundred of them. But you'll be impressed. I even bought from different vendors to try different qualities, different farms. It's just an all-around stable unit, guys, and I recommend it for the price point. All right.